The 13th plenary of the extraordinary session of the Forum of Parliaments of the Great Lakes region met in Juba, South Sudan to look into the various issues affecting the region, which are social, economic, and humanitarian in nature, among others. In attendance were several speakers from the region and heads of delegation representing the various countries in this forum. The Vice President of South Sudan was the guest of honor of this very session before opening it, and he highlighted some of the issues that need to be tackled by the various states within the region.
The lack of political will within the region and the existence of spoilers within the region also. Spoilers benefit economically and politically from a continuous cycle of conflicts, unfortunately, and would do whatever it takes to keep the conflict heated. And the proliferation of small arms are just a few of the factors that perpetuate conflict in our region. In South Sudan, this is more pronounced by armed civilians, causing untold cost of lives and loss of property.
The Executive Secretary of the Forum, Samuel Kaholo, hinted on some of the daunting challenges within Eastern DRC that have been protracted for quite some time. He also points out that there is recruitment of the rebels within that part of the region.
Two negative forces of Burundian origin, namely restoration of the rule of law, Red Tabara, and National Liberation Front, continue to carry out attacks on FRDC, acronym for Armed Forces of the DRC, and allegedly collaborate with ADF in facilitating recruitment and movement of operatives in exchange of financial support.
The different countries have to put in place different mechanisms which will make it very hard for them to enter. Intelligence has to be on the alert. And then thirdly, long term, this is long term. We need to do a lot of sensitization among our people, especially the youth. We remove that thought from them, because if people are sensitized and they know that being recruited into rebel forces is bad, then they will not do it. I know mostly it is done to the younger people because they are quite vulnerable.
In the previous sessions of the forum, there was a resolution that all the negative forces, all the hostile forces within the Eastern DRC should cease fire so that they allow the negotiations and the peace talks to carry on. But according to the Executive Secretary of the Forum, M23 is not heeding to that call.
That the continued M23 activities, despite ongoing peace initiatives, is an indication that the group is not ready to surrender and remains determined to occupy most strategic areas in North Kivu, including the city of Goma, in order to compel the DRC government to dialogue.
Probably when the heads of states, the different mechanisms meet, they will decide on the next move. But of course, there are stages that are spelled within that agreement. And I think in case of failure, there may be enforcement of the other mechanism which may compel them to come to the table.
It has been resolved that the parliaments in the various states should push the executive to take action, especially looking at or considering the resolutions that have been made by the forum that sat here in Juba. And also another issue that the parliaments need to nudge, especially the executive about, are the matters to do with land tenure systems in the various states, border security, and employment, especially for the youth. Sudhir Yarhanga, NTV, Juba, South Sudan.